Hey everybody, Kratos Lucina here. Today we are driving the AMX-40. Now this particular vehicle, or particular tank, uh, it was part of an effort, or it was like most of an effort for uh, France to get into the export market in the early 80s, or the 80s overall. And what they did was they built a tank that was powerful, light, heavily armed, and was relatively cheap to make. What we got, and they did a good job. It's very fast, it's very zippy. It's heavily armed. Unfortunately, it's lightly armored, and that left the crew extremely exposed. Now, the trade-off in that is you get a cheaper tank, but it kind of comes down to is the juice worth the squeeze? Uh, with no real, I don't know, with nothing to show for it. Ooh, slapped on the go. Uh, huh. That was weird that I hit that expeditionary for so little points, but uh, they did make a tank technically, but it's a tank that probably would have functioned better in World War II. Unfortunately, this thing came out in the 80s, and that was a time when anti-tank missiles were becoming fairly prolific, and there were better tanks on the market, especially with Russia starting, or Russian states, Warsaw Pact, beginning to export a lot. Can't hit anything. Ah, got him anyway. A little zooming. Who's shooting at me? Knock it off. What is going on with those guns over there? Do you mind? Knock it off. Oh, man. In 1990, this tank was canceled. There was not enough interest. It was aimed at the Arab nations, mostly through the Middle East and whatnot. And there was just nobody cared enough to even try to invest in this thing. I keep hitting something over there. I think it's that plane. And in 1990, the project was canceled. This tank definitely would have been a heavy-duty contender had it popped up in World War II or if the Cold War had gone hot. Unfortunately, it just wasn't going to get anywhere. do anything meaningful. I do love the idea of a 20 millimeter coax. You know, just it's exactly ridiculous enough to work. And it, that whole concept of, a big gun, attached to an even bigger gun definitely tickles a lot of, you know, ooh, schwacked. Alright, all that's left is a Centauro, I think. I like this tank. I love having that auto cannon handy to be able to do like actual substantial damage to other tanks. Even if it's only mostly effective on light tanks, it can save you from having to waste a ton of ammunition on a pointless fight, you know? Boom! Yeah, see, like in that instance where you can kind of like chisel something down to the health of your main gun, that's definitely a handy thing to have. The problem is you're driving not quite a paper tank, more like a, I don't know, extra thick cardboard tank. It'll take something a little more substantial than a butter knife to get through it, but it can still get hit by some pretty substantial weaponry and penetrated. And I even had the bulldozer attachment on it, and that still wasn't enough to save me. I still took quite a bit of damage on that. But I made it. And you know, it survived enough. But being able to switch back and forth on the weapon systems, and so like while your main gun is reloading, you can be tearing things up with the autocannon. So in a World War II setting, this tank would have been awesome. In a modern conflicts, especially as we just finished Vietnam and we're stepping into the height of the Cold War, and then Desert Storm comes around, and this thing wouldn't have stood a chance. It would have been wiped out by every missile spamming vehicle ever, and including ground troops who had missile launchers. It would have just been wiped out. But in this game, it's not bad. As a tier 5, I got 9 kills, did a solid, almost 16,000 in damage. It's not bad. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Comment down below if you'd like to see a tank in battle. And I will see you guys in the next mission. Until then, have fun.